Hello class. Today we're going to be talking about all things synthetic data. Is there anything specific you all want to start with?
Wow, I am delighted to be in this super secret synthetic data session. But yes, I work in pharma and I don't have real world data for my drug. Can synthetic data replace that?
There are two ways to generate synthetic data. Rules alone, which we don't recommend because clinical data is too complex, or real-world data as your foundation, which is what we believe in. And that's where the contradiction comes in. To generate synthetic data, I need real-world data, the very thing you just told me you don't have. It's a bit like going to a banker with no money and asking for a loan. The banker won't lend to you if you have nothing because there's no guarantee you can pay it back. Same problem here. No data for your exact drug, there's a workaround, but we'll get to that. Okay, back to class. So let's walk through the use cases of synthetic data. I like to think of them in three levels, based on how much real-world data you're working with. The first level is the easy case. You already have solid real-world data to build from. The first use case is proving it works. Before you use synthetic data for anything serious, you want to demonstrate that what you're generating is genuinely indistinguishable from the real thing. This one is for the skeptics. The second is generating more patients. Think orphan or rare diseases. You have claims data, but not enough of it. Synthetic data lets you expand what you have without introducing novel cases. The third is filling gaps in your data coverage. I call this the beauty cream. You have a strong foundation, but you're missing pieces. KP, VA, Florida, FFS claims. Think of it like Swiss cheese. The structure is solid, but there are holes. You're filling the holes. And the fourth is completing a patient's journey. You have the patient in your data, but parts of their story are missing. Claims that were never captured. Our synthetic data generator reads physician notes and fills those gaps. The second level is the medium case. You have real-world data, but it's not complete. You have a foundation, but you need to infer some things. The first use case here is modeling a new drug combination. You have solid data on your drug used alone, and now you want to understand what happens when a second drug enters the regimen. You have the skeleton. You're building out the combination. The second is modeling a new patient population for an existing drug. Your drug is already on the market. You know the physician base, but now you're going after a new indication with a different patient population. You're working from a foundation, but you're going out on a limb a little. The third level is the hard case. You have no real-world data for your drug at all. This is where the surrogate comes in. You take data from a similar drug and adjust from there. The first use case is modeling a formulation and setting change. IV to SubQ. Two things are changing at once. The formulation from intravenous to subcutaneous and self-injectable, and the setting from a teaching hospital to a community setting. That's a significant shift to model. The second is modeling a channel transition, focusing entirely on the change in setting from academic hospital to community practice. Drugs often launch in academic centers and then expand out. Even without a formulation change, modeling that transition requires a surrogate and expert judgment. And the third is pre-launch. The drug isn't on the market yet. There is simply no data. You use a surrogate. You profile the differences, and you run scenario analysis. Conservative, base case, aggressive. Because you're making assumptions, you build a range, set your boundaries well, and reality will land somewhere inside them.
Okay, but I can't do HCP level alerts with synthetic data. I can't identify specific physicians, so is it even worth it?
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because the bathwater is dirty, meaning synthetic data can't do everything, doesn't mean you throw out the baby too. Yes, synthetic data can't support individual level targeting, but every use case we just walked through, generating more patients, filling coverage gaps, pre-launch modeling, combo therapy, none of that requires patient level identification. And none of that data exists to buy at any price. Synthetic data fills a gap that money alone can't fill. Let's take an example to illustrate the difference between projection and synthetic data. In projection, we assign the 1,000 RXs we have to our 70 known physicians. With synthetic data, we first expand the universe of physicians, say to 100, then assign the 1,000 RXs. But where do the 30 come from? This is where anchors come in. Pieces of information drawn from different and usually heterogeneous data sources that help us connect to reality. Examples include Epidata, US Census, Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, Medicaid, and open payments. Synthetic data is not just a new tool, it's a new way of thinking about data.